Welcome to Shepherd's Coffee Talk, a very inspiring story today.
We're going to be talking we're going to be talking about cycling and cooking and gardening and flowers and art. Unbelievable! All in this package right here. This is Cydney Galbraith. She is the owner, founder, creator of Love's Pure Light Luxury Silks.
Ooh.
Shepherd's has really adopted Cydney as part of the Shepherd's family.
Call Mama Marlene.
And I love how you do the work you do. So let's talk about what you do, because we'll talk a little bit about what you did before to get you here. Yes. But what is Love's Pure Light Luxury Silks, and why do you call it that?
Love's Pure Light Luxury Silks is a Canadian fashion line. I launched with that idea, just about bringing the light out in the marketplace. We all need hope, we all need encouragement, we all need to need love, to know that we're loved. When we know that we're loved, we're free to run.
I love how you talk about the fact that you've got women covered. Like literally got them covered with the intention of what you just described. This idea that, we wear our feelings kind of thing, to feel that somebody cares for you and has created something so beautiful. Every one of your pieces tells a story.
That's it.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so my message really has been a journey for me. It's been a 9-year journey of fashioning the heart first. And, you introduced me as this, wow, you were this, you were this, you were this, you were this. But the reality is it wasn't who I was. I was hiding underneath all of that. And just to go a bit backwards, I had few rock bottom moments in my life after my professional athletic career.
As a cyclist, we should say, Cydney was on the national team for cycling, right?
Yeah, 10 years I was on the Canadian national cycling team and won 3 titles, went to Worlds twice, and it was just through that striving and performance, you're working to be great, nothing against pro sports, but I knew deep down that wasn't who I was. So I hung up the bike from my career and, got skilled in other areas, thinking I could be a chef, I could go study wines, I could be in floral. I had a creative passion, but it wasn't until I again, was falling into the performance-based mentality in every area. People say, wow, look what you're doing, wow.
Right.
But that wasn't who I was. So,
and the competition, too. There's a competitive aspect in all the areas you just described, as well as cycling.
So I had this idea, before this even started, was that, I would go and run and hide. And I decided to go hide in a job at a retirement home, working with the elderly people. Okay. And how many of us have been in that position, right? Where I just wish I could hide, and that's what I did.
Yes.
And I say, sometimes what we think is our setback when we have those rock bottom moments, it's a setup.
Right.
It's a setup. Our setbacks can be a setup for
That's right.
where we're headed. And during every retirement home shift, it was a 12-hour shift, I encountered love. Old people, I'm sorry, like our elders of Canada, they know when something's wrong. They know when you're not yourself. They can pick up on things, and they know how to love you in those areas. So I adopted all these elderly people, and after every retirement home shift, I would go home. And, midnight, I was renting a basement studio. I have never taken an art lesson in my life, but I had this idea to paint messages of who I am on my clothes. So that's what I did. I'd go home, I was renting in the basement, next to a filing cabinet, there was a treadmill, I think, in the one room, and I would paint just, I am loved, I'm forgiven, I have a purpose. And I would write these messages on my silk blouses that I had from years of, loving fashion, but now I'm working in a retirement home, I'm wearing scrubs every day, and and I would wear these silk clothes with just words on them, little pictures, and I'd wear them underneath my scrubs every day at the retirement home just to remind myself that I have a future. And it went on for a couple of years, and eventually people found out about what I was doing. And I would go to little art shows and just little craft markets and set up a booth. And my passion was just to be an expression of love in the marketplace. Not a judgment, not like this is right, that is wrong, you need to do better, because those were the lies I struggled with as an athlete. And just not measuring up. And I know from all females, we shouldn't struggle with that, but it's a constant lie we all hear as women and men, like you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, you screwed up or whatever.
It's part of the human conundrum, really.
It really was just a me and God thing. It was like, I'm doing this for myself, but I have such a passion because of what I'm doing that I'm going to get out and do these little shows. And, I was just kind of running with a creative idea I had. Didn't think anything of a business, anything, I didn't think anything of it. And, I kind of kept it on the back burner for a bit, and I'd go places. It was, I need a scarf. Can you make me one? And it was just, I was painting one by one by one and selling each one. I'd take pictures of it. And it wasn't until just a couple years ago, I'm in California. I'd been to New Zealand. Was always doing the creative thing, I was in New Zealand doing little beach shows and beach markets, being an expression of love in the marketplace. And then I was offered a job in California. I ended up getting engaged a couple of years ago, and it was all these like, wow, again, they're like, wow, you're waiting, you're going to be an American or whatever. And confession, Canada, I love you. I did not realize how Canadian I was until I was African.
Really? Until you got submerged into that culture.
And the more, you're waiting for your visa, you're ready to get married. It was like just the red flags were going off in my spirit, and this wasn't it, So I literally walked away from an engagement. I walked away from a great career down in Laguna Beach, a beach city, and I got in my little Toyota car, barely, and I fled back to Canada. 2017, lived in my parents' basement for a year, like mom and dad's house,
Bless your mom and dad.
Bless mothers and fathers who just welcome their kids home, always. And that voice came to me and says,
I want you to build love's pure light, is what the voice said.
That was a whisper in their ears. You had a direction, you had a motivation.
I think so many times, even I was struggling with, I was on my own worst enemy. I didn't think, I'm just, I don't want to be just an artist. I want to be just like this, I don't even want to say it, but just those lies were coming to me about being an artist or being someone who's creative. But what I didn't realize is that was a gift that God had given me to release my passion in a pure way that's going to touch lives. So I, being vulnerable, I had about $500 in my bank.
It's good.
Living with my parents. What am I going to do with my life? And I heard that voice, and I just said, okay, I'll go for it, And it was those years of being in that cave, living in that basement, where I was broken, and those words were rebuilding me, who I was from the inside out. And I had all the art from years, So people say, I have all these ideas, and you guys make me sound so great, but the truth is, this really has been a miracle that these pieces are coming together. And I just,
and you're spreading the word.
I think the thing is, we get in our own way so often around what we're supposed to be doing here on earth, and we overthink everything, and we let all the criticism and other people's opinions stump us.
We lose ourselves
instead of really listening to our own good guidance, which is what we call intuition, or whatever that voice is you ascribe, doesn't matter. But somehow when you get to that place where you realize, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't care how you see it. This is what I need to do, and we'll see what happens. What happens is that the world met your beautiful intention of love's pure light, because you're right. This is the one gift. Look at Ellen DeGeneres. She has a talk show 1 hour every single day, and her message is just love. That's it. Kindness and love. So the world needs this, but we get to wear it, so that's even more fun. Can we talk about some of the designs now? So you take this experience you had in the basement of creating designs, and your experience with your passion for flowers, of course, and all the things that sort of converge now. Your love of the beach and all the things, and now you create these beautiful designs. So can we talk about a few pieces that we're going to see, and just explain a little bit of the story? Yeah, so you just said it right there. The piece you're wearing is where your treasure is, there how it will be. Where your
Where your
treasure
treasure
is,
is, there your heart will
there
be.
your heart will
and
be.
I
Oh.
love the beach. Yes, I love the mountains, but it's all of these experiences that I've encountered through my life of being an athlete, being other things that weren't that shroud of who I am today.
Right.
But I get to release them through my creativity.
Right.
And I try to choose. Most of the things I love, people love too. Like the beach and food, fashion, flowers, roses,
Right.
Dresses, nature, just really natural beauty. But I try to really sit in that place, and I want to fashion the heart first. And that's my message in the marketplace: is when your heart feels good, right? You look good, right?
Yeah,
Sure,
when
that's
you
the glow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right, that's
and
right.
confidence. And
So I say it's fashion from the inside out,
Right.
And it's everlasting fashion, because these are pieces to your heart that will be forever. Marlene is wearing a piece called "My Head is Lifted High and I've Got Feet with a Beat," and it's a painting I did of all of these crazy giraffes. I call them my giraffes in the Canadian Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And you'll find little giraffes in the painting with shoes, with wings, because if you're a giraffe, you're already tall, but imagine a giraffe with wings. He's even higher, and his head is high, way up in the clouds, and he's wearing a scarf. He's wearing a scarf in there. So there's little messages of that when you're having a bad day, just think of the giraffe.
Right.
If you were a giraffe in the Canadian Rockies, all you need to know is that your head is high.
We don't call in enough whimsy day to day, and this is an opportunity when you're wearing it, and people will ask you, "Well, what's your scarf all about?" And then you can tell them.
well, and so many of them you could frame them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are works of art. They have a wonderful message. They adorn your body, add color, add warmth, add interest.
Let's talk about the newest one. This is your representation of all the Canadian flowers.
Yeah.
We'll show it.
We'll show that. So the most recent painting I did, actually, I started before I came to Marlene's store, and it really was like the ammo of these Canadian bride in the store that gave me the push to complete it. I said, I got to complete this before I get back here. And it's a painting of our Canadian bride, where all the corporate women in Canada, every provincial flower I saw in the dress as one. The diversity, the colors, the texture, the beauty of all of the flowers blooming in Canada. We're entering a new year. We're almost at the end of our year. And just the essence of who we are as Canadians.
What is the reference to bride? I hear you say that a lot. Was that done for a bridal dress?
Well, I have a hand-painted wedding dress I've done. You'll see it on my bio card, and they've got it in the store here. It's actually a real silk wedding dress. And it was a creative project I took on just as an expression of my brand, that we're all seen as a beautiful bride. Sure, we all have colors, we all have flavors. We're all seen as a beautiful bride covered by a veil that protects us. We're white, we're holy, we're without stain or blemish. We're all a bride, whether you're married or not. But when that veil is removed, there's colors and promises of that color your life. And that was the vision I saw when I was creating that. Was, we're all this beautiful bride with a story. You have a story. You have a story. And sometimes, my wounds have now been warfare, like they've been my battle wounds of story.
Right. Your motivation.
And I remember when I first started creating this bride's dress, it was a second-hand dress, and I did some sewing on it and worked with it. My mom saw what I was doing. She's like,
What are you doing now, Cydney? But we're so grateful that you do.
God bless my mom and dad.
Well, we're grateful to your mom and dad for sure, without question. Now, you brought a little friend along. Let's talk about your little friend here.
So this is, they all have names,
Of course they
and
do.
it's funny because when I met Marlene Shepherd, she's the mama shepherd.
Yeah, she's a mama shepherd. And these are little sheep. They come in white, pink, and
they're
black.
real Canadian Mongolian sheep's wool. And so I lived in New Zealand. And the message behind the sheep is this. So I had this amazing idea. I was living there doing markets, just having fun with my ideas. I had on my silk scarves. I'm going to catch a sheep and I'm going to dress it up in my clothes. Because you know what? I'm painting only on silk. And silk is a very lightweight, natural, pure heirloom fiber. It will be forever. When the sheep puts on the silk scarf, all of the baggage and the shaggage, all the dead weight falls off. When he puts on the Canadian armor of love's pure light, he knows that he's covered in love. So this picture here is a real sheep.
Dressed
I
up in a
caught with
scarf.
my own 2 hands, and he's got the armor of love to relate. So I have one of my designs is called "I'm a Bahama Llama Sheep Prima Donna." This love is my shepherd; I shall not want. And when you put on the armor of love to relate, you know you're loved. Your heart feels good.
Right.
You could just go out and you
Slay.
could conquer the world
Go out and
in one
slay.
of these scarves, and that's how you can slay.
I love how you think outside the box. I love their scarves because they're fashionable, they're lots of color, they're a great story,
Yes.
they're a great gift-giving idea because they're one size, and you're a delight to have.
You know,
you ignite the story when you're here for our talk
and the
shows.
intention is that you are clothed in love, courtesy
Yes.
of this beautiful spirit
Yeah.
right here. So thank you, Cydney, so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Coffee,
It's an honor
bless your
just to
beautiful
be
heart.
here.
Thank you for joining us.
Cheers.